It's tough when money and creativity, or that money and like that moment overlap. And I feel like it's a lot more special to just offer my time and like take that photograph of someone and not also charge them, um, because that way it can just be real. They came and I'm there, and that's just like in that moment. Um, and so that was like something I really wanted to build on, but I just wanted to start a project that couldn't end. Well, that's actually the other reason that I started it was like work was kind of slow in the winter, and so I just wanted something to like to do, right? And to shoot more under my own circumstances, like control it, and it's not for a client, it's not for any other reason than just taking a photograph and like meeting people, right? And that little moment you can share in a portrait. Um, I released a book when I graduated from SPOW. I made a book that I've been working on for like 2 years. That project had filled my time. Like every time, like even when I had other school projects, if I hit a creative block, I go back to this project, start working on it. Then that would get the gears going again, and then I'd go back to my school project, and then it just kind of like was always there for me when I needed it. I could just go to the studio and shoot it. I could try shooting it in a million different ways, and that just really, helped me through school and kept the motor running. Um, and so I just wanted a project that couldn't end. And I figured trying to shoot everybody that's come in on this project, because it's very simple and digestible, is just like, yeah, that's cool. The idea of having the 300 portraits all collaged at the end is just going to mean that everybody who looks at it is going to interact with it differently. And that's up to them. It's not this message that I'm trying to convey. All I'm showing you is your community, the people that you know closely, versus maybe, oh, that's that barista, or oh, that's that person that works at the donut shop or whatever. Like, and that's what's happening to me now that I've photographed strangers, but now I see them in the places I go all the time, and there's just this little, connection to that. And so what they did was they offered this kind of competition spot where what they were really looking for was like a community-oriented artist. And when I read that, I was like, well, that's exactly what my project is. Like this, that would make sense to submit like half. So my final show, I'd like to have 300. If I get more than that, it'll be more than that. But I've shot about 180 people in about just under 2 months now. But I submitted 150. I felt like that was a nice kind of round halfway number. And so it's basically just the idea of like 150 people in the collage, just a little kind of like preemptive look at what like the larger thing could be. And every step, every time that I get to show this project, it just gets more people involved. It's almost like a part-time job. The back end of this project is just like scheduling, organizing. I don't take work on Tuesdays. I don't play soccer on Tuesdays. I shoot from 5 to midnight, about 17 to 20 portraits every Tuesday. Is that in shooting so many disconnected people that are only separated by like the smallest of margins, it could kind of tie people in together a little more. I had 3 people here a couple weeks ago for like the 5 o'clock booking slot, and they all worked in the same office building, and none of them knew each other. And then they left knowing each other, right? So it's like I'm not the only one meeting people. It's the people in the overlapping bookings, because I'm not that strict with time. People are either early or late, and so sometimes there's like 4 or 5 people here, and everybody's super nice. And when I'm like developing in the darkroom there, I'll take like, I mean, happily anybody can come in and watch, but maybe there's people that have already seen it or whatever, they just showed up, and there'll be a little party out here, and they're just hanging out, and they get to know each other sometimes better than I get to know the people, right? And that's totally fine. Because they're not occupied by shooting, developing, explaining things. They just are sitting in a little waiting room. So it's been really fun to see kind of like what else it's done. Like it's not just for me, but other people have started to meet other people or reunite with other people too, right? So it's been fairly limited. Like I know that I don't like the head-on, so I have them looking to the left of the camera just a little bit. It just works better with the lighting and the whole idea of kind of cutting the face in half but having that catch light there. But the first shot with most people, I just let them sit because I still am okay with a uniqueness kind of happening. So if somebody does something, if they just sit down and go like this, I'm like, yeah, let's try that. Even though most people don't do that, because if it works, great. If not, then I can, direct it a little more hands-on. The final photo, which is because it's a negative in a 4.5 camera, there's no mirror, so it's upside down and backwards when you're looking through it. So the person in the ground glass that you're focusing on, they're upside down. If they turn their head left, it turns right, and vice versa. Working in a darkroom is really cool because of the legs it gives to like any type of, so I can shoot it, I can develop it, and then I can spend 8 hours printing a single image. And that just gives so much more like depth to the process.